to scoop it.
You ready to go down?
Yes.
All right, I've got 7 o'clock on the phone. We're gonna call this special meeting for the Arcadia Common Council to order for Thursday, November 19, 2015. Roll call, please.
Fritz Conrad.
Present.
Todd Fetch.
Here.
Joe Faltus.
Yep.
Dan Sala.
Yep.
Paul Wozny.
Yes.
Mayor Kimmel.
Yes. Please join me in our pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we've got the verification of the posting bill.
Yeah, the agenda was posted to City Hall, to Arcadia State Bank, and to Arcadia TV and Appliance by yesterday at 3:50.
You got one?
Yeah.
Okay, we've got a period of public comment. Opportunity for public comment. Yes, ma'am.
Jan Dvorak. The observations that I had in regard to last city council meeting, when we were doing the budget. Monday you met from 7 until 11. Tuesday you met from 7 until 10. And tonight I don't know how long the meeting will go. I just think that that's very tough, for people who are working full-time. The human person needs time to rest, to relax, to eat good food, to have some time for play, to pray, and I'm not sure that that kind of schedule is good for you. So I just observed that. Secondly, I noticed that Fritz wanted to wait for the vote until Bob could be present. I thought that was kind and inclusive. The use of language like getting rid of the poison seems inappropriate. And after the meeting, I approached Angela to talk to her about the budget website. And as I was doing that, I was asking her to, if there was some way that it could be very clear, that it would include the revenue, and as things are reallocated, that would be somehow highlighted or that people would know. But as I was engaged in conversation with her, another person approached and I felt like the boundary was violated. So I just wanted to point that out. And then, just for your reflection, I put together a few things. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of the Johari window, but it talks about the human person. It's the part of us that everybody knows. I as a person and you looking at me say, yeah, that's who Jan is, but there's that blind spot that's in me and it's in each one of us. It's not known to me, it's not known to the human person. But it may be known to a lot of other people. And then there's that facade that's not known to others, but I know about myself. And then there's that part that's unknown to you and to me. But I think as human beings, it's important for us to communicate based on that kind of information. And then I'd also like to point out the difference between hearing and listening. I think there can be a lot of hearing, but I'm not sure that there's always the listening component. So I would just challenge you to that. Mark Twain said if we were supposed to talk more, we would listen with. If we were supposed to talk more than we listened, we would have 2 tongues and 1 ear.
That's a good one.
And then today is the 152nd anniversary of the Gettysburg Address, so I enclosed that for you. So each of you can have a copy. Oh, last thing. There's, I don't know if you've ever heard of the TED Talks. They're wonderful 10-minute things on the internet. And the one that I would encourage you to watch is The Power of Vulnerability by Brene Brown. And as we approach the election, my hope is that whatever the results, whatever the outcome, that it would be a win-win for everybody in this room. that we will all have learned from the process.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We have just a couple.
Yeah, we kind of already have it.
Okay.
In response, for full disclosure, I was the one that interrupted Ms. Dorshak and Angela. And the reason that I had interrupted is because we were on our way out and I needed to visit with the personnel committee, and what I had approached Jan with was the thing that she gave us on Tuesday, and I told her that some of the things on there that I found of value and I liked it, and I asked to be able to visit with her sometime, and that was the purpose of the interruption. Now, whether it crossed a boundary or not, I didn't feel reaching out and saying thank you for that crossed a boundary. If it did, I don't see how, but if it crossed a boundary on your end, I apologize for that.
Thank you.
But I didn't feel that it was inappropriate because we were in a public building and a public meeting. So, public comments?
Yeah, John Schultz, son of Arcadia. I'm not really through with the landfill process yet. Communicated with some individuals at the EPA, out of their Chicago office, the Brownfields regional manager, and some things are news to him, and it appears the track record that Green Alliance had stated they had with EPA in doing projects seems perhaps non-existent. So I'm gonna be following through yet on that. So I would preserve the video, Bill, of that meeting. Some of the statements they made. They got a chuckle out of the statement about Detroit getting half the money. Not even close. Which is what I knew at that time too. So things that don't seem to add up are not adding up. So I don't know. I would encourage people to have more courage to ask questions. I don't know how much money's been spent so far in the process, but and again, I would preserve that video. Thank you.
Public comments? Comments from the public? Opportunity for comments from the public? Seeing none, we will move on. We've got discussion and action items. Bob, it was not on the agenda the other night about the recycling contract for approval, and it seemed that you had hoped for it to be on, so we put that on the agenda tonight for the approval. We also changed that both of them are a 2016-2017 recycling contract, and that the attachment is also a 2-year to coincide with the length of the contract. It didn't seem like, or it seemed like you wanted to get that approved, so we made sure that it was on tonight's agenda.
I appreciate that because he needs some urgency to get his paperwork to his new guy, so there'll be a smoother transition. Thank you. Motion?
Sure.
I'll motion that we approve the contract for 2016-2017 with the Arcadia Recycling.
Can you just say that that also includes the attachment as presented for the 2-year term too?
With the attachment of the 2-year deal attached, yes.
Second.
Motion by Wojni, seconded by Feltus to approve that recycling contract as well as the attachment for the years 2016-2017. That will also authorize the mayor and the clerk to sign that on behalf of the city. Any comments or discussion?
I was just wondering, after this is all signed and delivered, sometime within the next 2-year period, if those people are in town and we have something going on down here, it would be nice if they would stop in and introduce themselves so that we can see faces with names.
Bill, when we have a light agenda at some point in the future, can you reach out to these folks so we can welcome them to our community and meet them, and so they can meet all of us?
Oh, I got it.
Comment too, if I may. Will we be getting information on these bins and all that sort of thing? Will it get started or whatever it is? Because I'm just kind of wondering, are we going to be still using bags, or are we going to use bins, or what's it going to cost and all that? So I imagine we'll see something in the future on that. But
When we invite them, Bill, can we also make sure that if there's gonna be any changes to the recycling or any options that are made available to the community, that we are able to discuss it at that meeting too?
Will do.
Anything else we'd like to tell those folks? Those are two very good, important things. Hearing none, there's a vote and or we're ready for a vote, Bill?
Fritz Conrad,
Yes.
Todd Fetch,
Yes.
Joe Feltus,
Yes.
Dan Sensala,
Abstain.
Bob Wozny.
Yes.
Okay, we have a park up in TIF District number 4, and I'm suggesting and asking that we name that after a longtime member of our community. He's a Korean War veteran, a 20-year council member, and he and his wife do and have for many years done a great job being involved with the community, and that would be Viola Sanson. So I would ask that that park be named Viola Sanson Park. if ever.
Second.
Okay.
And,
Come too slow.
I'm proud to be able to do that, because he was my CCD teacher, and he's the guy that showed me how small Arcadia really is. So I didn't realize he had coffee with my dad probably 2 days a week.
Yeah.
And you knew it.
Yeah.
Did you teach you how to chew too?
He did.
I thought
Was
so.
it Fritz and Joe?
There's a motion by Conrad, seconded by Feltus, to authorize the name and designation of this park as Viola Sanson Park. Any discussion on that further?
Are we going to notify him and then maybe have some kind of maybe a picture in the paper or something like that when we do this, I suppose, when we open the park up perhaps?
When we get to letter C, we're gonna discuss that. But, we'll take a vote then, Bill.
Fritz Conrad,
Yes.
Todd Fetch,
Yes.
Joe Feltus,
Yes.
Dan Sensala,
Yeah.
and Bob Wozny.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Next on the agenda is authorization to get bids on the park sign and what we had talked about. I know Ben Golan's done some great work in the past. Some sort of park entrance with perhaps a bronze plate that would feature a caricature face, kind of maybe Violus and his wife, and then some things that they've done in the community and his war record and council record and the like. And if we could send that out for bids to a couple of different places to get something for up there.
I'll move on that.
If you go with a black stone or a darker stone, then you can diamond point etch them, and you can touch them and you can't even feel the marks. It's that.
At some point when those come back, I think, I did want to get Violus down here tonight, but quite honestly, my schedule in the last day and a half didn't allow it. Joni is well aware of the park and my request for designating it and naming it after him. I am going to, I've got a late Friday, so I am going to go up and visit with Mr. Hanson tomorrow and let him know what's.
You know where he is, he's in Grandview now.
I didn't.
Yeah.
He's over in Grandview now.
I'll get over there.
That's up to Joni,
Okay.
yeah,
Is that gonna be like permanent?
Yes.
I think so.
Okay.
He's pretty weak.
Well, this guy was an absolute gentleman and very much a mentor. When I first became mayor, I met him here after my first election. He came back and we visited for a while, and I had lived a block and a half from him, but had never met him. I mean, you see people outside and stuff. But he took a great deal of time down here explaining a lot of things, gave me a lot of history and things. And when I did well, he made sure that people heard that, and when I could improve, he made sure that I heard that. And I have a great deal of respect for his demeanor and how he handled that and the respect that he showed. And I know that he told me personally that his one regret on the council was that he had never gotten a chance to run for mayor. And I told him, this is probably right when he was leaving, I said, Vi, I wish you were 20 years younger. And he said, kid, if I was, I'd run against you and I'd be mayor. And I said, God bless you for it, Milos. I wish you could have, because that was always a goal of his. So.
We saw him last weekend after Veterans Day. We stopped in, a number of us from the American Legion, and he's looking pretty good, but he's pretty weak, and when he speaks, it's you know, he's kind of quiet anyways, and he's almost like a whisper.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody knows the history behind his serving on the Parks Committee, but he was very instrumental with the success in the design and a lot of the stuff at Memorial Park. And while he's no longer a council member, his legacy is certainly going to live on for the work that he put in. So thank
Wasn't
you.
he on the county parks
Yeah,
committee?
he's on the County Parks Committee and several committees with the city over his 20 years as a councilman. He lost one city council election by 1 vote or 2 votes, and he thought he had her in the bag, and so he went on vacation and he came back and found out that he didn't. But the next time around, it was actually with Scott Leonard, when Scotty lived over on the corner of Gillespie and McKinley. So, but anyhow, thank you for your support on that, and we'll take a vote on that bill.
That motion by Fetch, seconded by Feltus.
I think Conrad and Feltus.
Conrad.
Yeah. I can do it too, though.
Yeah, whatever.
Fetch Feltus is okay too.
Mr. Whatever.
Okay. And this is for the authorization to get bids.
Yes.
I got the name, the sign.
Fritz Conrad,
Yes.
Todd Fetch,
Yes.
Joe Feltus,
Yes.
Dan Sensala,
Yes.
Bob Wozniak.
Yes.
Dan, what I was hoping you would do is, as the chairman of the park, Board of Park Beautification and Recreation, that we would be able to get a few different companies that could do that, and you'd be able to kind of pass along what we had talked about, having a nice classy entrance and the different things that could go on there, and get a couple of different options for the council to approve at some point in the future. And then when we do a grand opening, when all the structures are put in the spring up there and stuff, the volleyball court will be up there. We've got a swing set and then the stuff that the council approved the other night, so some really nice additions up there. So, okay, we have some budget reallocations here. The last of these, I assure you. The first go around with the Ashley project, there were some dollars that were designated to that, and because we did the budget reallocation the other night out of that TIF district repayment of the advance, the dollars that were allocated there are going to be reallocated for this U.S. Army Corps of Engineer flood project, and then there's a couple of other odds and ends to do here. There's $154,046, $154,046 for anybody that's writing. That is a reallocation from the 2015 TIF District number 4 advance repayment, $154,046. Going to the general fund, and this is to pay for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineer flood mitigation project feasibility study. This is the first phase of the 3 phases for the U.S. Army Corps project. The second dollar amount coming from the 2014 cash advance repayment is $34,577.15. The $500,000 that had originally been allocated over to Myers Valley Creek, and we the other night allocated $470,000 and some change, $471 or whatever it was for the Ashley project. Out of that $500,000, there was $30,022.28. Again, 30,022.28 coming out of that advance repayment. There is a certificate of deposit account with a balance of $64,755.61. And out of the City Hall fund, the number is 286,770.46. This will be a balance of $570, Bill, is that correct?
That's correct.
Comma 171.50, and that will complete the entire first phase of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineer feasibility study. And upon successful allocation of those funds, that will lead us to letter F under the discussion and action items,
Uh,
and I will discuss that
Mayor,
when we get to that.
just one comment here. The allocations equal 570, 171.50. However, the total amount of the feasibility study, our share is 577, 171.50. There's a difference of $7,000. That's in the budget. That's staff costs, so wages and benefits, and that's already in our operation budget.
But we're getting credit towards.
We're getting
the
credit
amount.
for that. So that's
our percentage spent.
Yes.
so just to clarify that the feasibility study, our share is 577, 171.50.
Thank you, I missed that. So I'm asking for a single, we're gonna do each of these separately, so asking for a show of support and a motion on that.
Move so.
Motion by Fetch, discussion by Feltus. Second by Feltus, and opening it up for discussion.
Well, that's a lot of money, and I just wanna make sure anybody in the audience understands why we're doing this. If there is any questions, don't be afraid to ask. You get it? Yeah? Okay, well, I didn't know. Okay.
Okay. A vote on that whenever you're ready, Bill.
Conrad,
Yes.
Fetch,
Yes.
Feltus,
Yes.
Sensala,
Yep.
Wozny.
Yes.
That's the first phase,
Yes, out of the three. The first is the feasibility, the second is the design, and the third would be the implementation and building phase. Okay, the second allocation is a repayment from the 2015 cash advance from the TIF District number 4 back to the general fund. The dollar amount is 95,954, and that will pay for this 2015 and for the decorative streetlights that we held from the last bills of general account. 95,954.
Oh, that's the SE?
Oh, I'm sorry, that's an allocation though. So the allocation is first and then the approval is second.
Okay, what's the same amount?
Yes,
So lights,
yeah,
okay.
but I broke these down individually so everybody would know each one of them, where the money was coming from and where it was going.
So this isn't utility money,
No, this is general fund.
general fund that we have,
We
and
own
then,
the post.
And it's our portion that we're supposed to pay
oh,
for.
our portion of it, okay. And the utility's supposed to be paying
The third.
a third
A
also,
third.
okay.
I remember all this, but where does that put us in the scope of getting what we wanted done, or what we wanted, what we?
That pays for everything that was in the plan for 2015, as well as what was in for 2016. Those posts were ordered together in one go-around because there was significant savings for the number of poles that were ordered, and therefore, I don't know if you remember from the budget meeting, but that's why they were not listed in the general fund budget, because they're being prepaid out of this cash advance. So then we didn't need it in the 16 budget.
Is that what's holding up the one getting by 562 East Main? Because I hear about that nightly. That's my mother's place.
That's funny.
You're in trouble.
You're not in trouble until she stops feeding you.
Yeah.
So 95,954 is the number on that.
I'll move on that.
Second.
Motion by Conrad, seconded by Fetch, and I guess there was a reverse order of discussion on that, but anything else from anybody? It's okay. Hearing none, Bill, will vote please.
Conrad,
Yes.
Fetch,
Yes.
Feltus,
Yes.
Sensala,
Yeah.
Wozny.
Yes.
Thank you for that. I do know that some of those are going to Main Street and several of them are going to Fairfield Avenue.
Towards the new.
Yeah. Now, there's two different sizes, so if you ever take, just so you guys know, if you ever take a look at the invoice, there's two different size poles, so there's a complete understanding of why that is. The DOT poles along the two state highways have to be a certain height, and then the ones on the back street, like St. Joseph and Gavney and Fairfield, are a little bit shorter. please don't quote me on the heights, but I think it's 30 feet and 25 feet. But it's something like that. And Tim would be able to better tell you about that.
The banner standards and all that sort of thing would be the same on both side poles, though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And they'll have the flag attachment, the banner attachments, and electrical outlets on the bottom and along the top for Christmas decorations as well. It doesn't mean there's gonna be Christmas decorations. You know what? I get kicked around enough. Christmas. It's Christmas. I don't care what anybody says about that. I know, but I'm gonna say Christmas. I'm not ashamed of that.
Same here. That's what it is, Christmas.
Yes. Now, that's not saying that there's going to be Christmas decorations on all the side streets if future councils, 5, 10, 20 years down the road so choose. Right now, they're just along Main Street, but if there's ever an extension of those, that would be great too.
I'd like to see Fairfield lit up. School.
So a vote on that, Bill?
I got
I'm sorry, did you want me to wait with the vote?
For the streetlights?
Yeah.
We already voted.
Perfect. Okay, then we have the Shank Park lights. This was a transfer of funds from the Preserve Our Parks Fund of 39,299.22. Some significant light increases down there, not just in the park area, but also along the walk that goes from the top of McKinley Hill, which would be just west of the Holy Family Catholic School. And there's a blacktop walking little path that goes down there. And
That's just walking, right? It's not driving.
Correct.
certain vehicles are allowed on there.
Okay.
Street department trucks and stuff like that for doing park stuff.
Yeah. I've never seen that.
I've walked it.
So that would be 39,299.22,
39.
and that's out of the Preserve Our Parks capital outlay.
39.22.
39,299.22.
39,299.22.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Where's that coming from?
The Preserve Our Parks Fund for additions to our parks.
Okay. Also move. Is that what you need?
Yes.
Second.
Motion by Fetch, seconded by Wajni. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, we'll accept a vote on that bill.
Conrad,
Yes.
Fetch,
Yes.
Feltes,
Yes.
Kinsella,
Yeah.
Wozni.
Yes.
You have now done a transfer for the decorative streetlights, and now we are approving that pending this transfer of funds to that account. We were holding that from the bills of general account the other night.
So moved.
Oh, that's the yellow.
Yes. But we didn't want to do it until you guys had authorized the fund transfer.
I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Motion by Feltes, seconded by Fetch. Any comments or questions or anything on that? Hearing none, we'll take a vote, Bill.
Conrad,
Yes.
Fetch,
Yes.
Feltes,
Yeah.
Kinsella,
Yep.
Wozni.
Yes.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda, now that the funds too have been transferred in to pay for the feasibility study, this is authorizing Angela to send this into the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. It's titled Non-Federal Sponsor Self-Certification of Financial Capability for Agreements. There's going to be, I believe you guys already authorized a special account for this. If not, it'll be on an upcoming agenda, but I thought it was, we authorized a couple new accounts. I think it was one of them, but otherwise, if it's not, then Angela will just come to you and say, hey, we need this new account authorized, and that's what it would be for. It says, I, Angela Berg, do certify that I am the treasurer of the city of Arcadia, Wisconsin, otherwise called the non-federal sponsor, that I am aware of the financial obligations of the non-federal sponsor for the Arcadia, Wisconsin section 205 feasibility study, and that the non-federal sponsor has the financial capability to satisfy the non-federal sponsor's obligation under the agreement between the Department of the Army and the city of Arcadia, Wisconsin for the Arcadia, Wisconsin section 205 feasibility study. In witness whereof I have made and executed their certification on blank day of November 2015 by title and date. She will sign it, Angela Berg, treasurer, and then date it.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Feltes, seconded by Fetch. Any questions or anything on that? Hearing none, we'll accept a vote, please.
Conrad,
Yes.
Fetch.
Yes.
Feltes.
Yes.
Sensala. Wozni.
Yes. Do you guys still have your agreement with Ashley Furniture from the other night? Can you take it out? Any comments after Fetch?
If I got it.
I got an extra on here. Wait, hold on.
You got on there, but. Oh, that one. Yeah, no, I just.
There's a couple of language cleanups that Mike Davy from Davy Engineering recommended, and then there was one substantial, or I'm sorry, two substantial changes in this, so I'm just gonna go over them real quick. On the first page, on the first page under recitals, if you go down to the 7th and 8th line, at the end of line 7, it says city has applied for. What does your copy say? Yes, we're changing that to applied for because everything has been obtained except the final sign off at the Corps of Engineers, and we expected that this week. It could be as early as tomorrow, it may be delayed until Monday or Tuesday, but I didn't wanna have that represented that we've got it. It's been applied for, and I didn't want anybody to say, you know, absolutely it's there when they haven't sent us the certificate yet, or the notification. I know it's just semantics, but I just wanted it to be, you know, absolute, so. The next would be the third line up in the same section of recitals. You see the word constructing. That is replacing excavating, it will say constructing now. At the end of that line, instead of installing, it'll say constructing.
Which line you got?
The end of the third from the.
Third line up.
Third line up.
Oh, third line up from the bottom.
Yep.
here someplace.
And then where it said,
Excavating,
yes,
that should be what, constructing?
constructing. And then installing, a few words later will also be constructing.
Okay.
And then right after that, a storm water main, it's just changed to storm sewer drain. Again, you know, not a significant change, but just making everybody aware of that. Can I see the bottom of yours? Diverting water. Okay, on the bottom, right up above the number 1, the page number, it says, the purpose of diverting water through the new channel for Myers Valley Creek. It will now say the purpose of diverting water through the new and existing, because it's not all going to be new. There's still a little bit of existing there. So again, not a major change, but just for proper, you know, making sure you guys know that
That
that's
one,
there.
1A, excuse me,
Yeah.
1A?
1C.
Oh, we're down there, okay.
Yep. Instead of it just saying the new channel, it'll say new and existing, just because part of that channel is still gonna remain.
And, okay.
Okay. It also says that we will be planting trees along the south property line. Those are the ones in the agreement with the Schenk family.
Next page?
Yes, if you move to letter D, in the second line, it did say Exhibit C, and now it says Exhibit B.
Should say B.
Yes, it should say Exhibit B. And then it will read like this: for the purpose of constructing a new storm sewer in the former creek channel and continuing to the new channel. And that's that section where we told you it was gonna be the storm sewer on the west side of the bridge going to the southwest. In letter E, it will say Exhibit B, not Exhibit C.
Okay, and E there, huh?
Yep,
Should say B.
B as in boy.
Bravo.
Bravo 2. The next section, number 2, term. If you go to the third line, it originally said September 30th, 2017. This will now say November 30th. That gives a full 24 months. Page 2, number 2 under term. Paragraph right there. It we'll say November 30th, 2017. And this is B instead of C. Okay, the next section, 3 conditions. Letter B, 3B on there, will say prior to the expiration of the term, the city shall prepare the portion of the Exhibit A property identified to be used for the truck parking, to be utilized for truck parking. Bill, my copy says for truck parking, I think that's redundant, and we don't need that in there.
Yeah, this says support parking of semi-truck tractors and trailers thereon.
For truck parking, yeah, it should say semi-truck tractors and trailers. I've got a double, I've got for truck parking twice.
Okay.
So that just needs to say for truck tractors.
Yeah,
and
if you can just
trailers.
cross it out on there and make the correction, and then we can get that back to KKB.
This is okay, huh?
Hard to sign.
Yeah.
You remember that, where that is? That's the section where we're gonna be putting the storm sewer, we're gonna be filling that in so they can park trailers across there and trucks.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
right side of DSM.
Yeah, the thing that we had changed is, I asked them to specifically put it on the map in blue and label it for actually truck parking, so there's no misunderstanding of the location of that. So I asked, again, we could've gone without it, but just so it's specific and everybody understands and sees right where it is, we put it in blue right there on the map. And then up here it says, Phase 2 fill area for Ashley truck parking. So again, it's not a huge thing, but it's just something that we asked for it to specifically say. If you go down to number 4, warranties and representations. Letter A will now say city has obtained all DNR permits and approvals required for the project. Rather than all government permits. Letter B will now say the city has applied for and will obtain the Corps of Engineers permit and approval for required for the projects. And again, that was the same explanation as before, we just separated the two because we haven't gotten the certificate in the mail yet.
City has applied for and approved,
And will obtain
oh, and, well,
Applied and obtained.
the Corps of Engineers permit. Letter C, the city has obtained or will obtain all easements. It will say now, or will obtain. DSM has given verbal approval for this. However, the easement that's been sent over to them has the old Ocean Nutrition name on it, so that's gotta be cleaned up and then they've gotta sign it. They've already given the verbal, they're just waiting for that to be cleaned up and we'll get that back to everybody. Letter D will now say, the city will satisfy rather than the city has satisfied. Obviously, we haven't satisfied the mitigation requirements until we get to that phase of the project, and we didn't want that to be misrepresented. I mean, we've got the approval to satisfy them, we just haven't done the work yet. Do all of those make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then the attachments as shown, like I said, this first one here, and I'm gonna send it around, but the first page, we added the blue area that just says for the actually truck parking, and then the other one is a blown up version of what you saw before that just has everything all laid out. So prior to any vote on that, I'm just gonna send that around.
can we get copies, the smaller copies of that eventually? too,
Bill,
or-
can you get those for all the council members?
Yeah.
Please, yeah, appreciate it.
Of the whole agreement and the mail
The
purchase.
agreement and the 2 attachments,
Mm-hmm.
Three attachments.
yeah.
Three? I got two here.
Two attachments.
Two attachments, where's the three attachments?
Should be three
It
attachments.
used to be ABs. Can I see that?
Or 2 attachments, yeah, 3 maps.
Well, there is one on, yeah, on here it is here. I mean, that's the architectural, that one there must be the three one.
Are there any questions about any of those changes? I mean, again, the 2 major ones were, separating the DNR and the core stuff just because we're waiting for that. And then just highlighting that on the map and explaining it in 3B where the truck parking and the truck and trailer parking is.
I have a question. Is there gonna be any fill, like, that we're not, we're gonna store some, obviously, to do that. Is there gonna be any that needs to be get rid of?
If there is, it's gonna be real minimal. The estimation on the fill is that, what's dredged out is going to be used. There is possibly gonna be some peat that was hauled, in about where the levee is, that's going to be excavated out, and, to make that suitable for the trucks, you're gonna have to put a lift of gravel in there, but, that'll just be land spread. All the other fill is, gonna be used for, on the second map there, you'll see there's a berm being built, there's some, backflow preventers on the east and the west side. The east side would be about where the cattle path is for, Dick and Patty's farm. On the west side, it'll be where the, storm sewer ends, and we're building a backflow there, so if there's any, backflow from the creek, that it won't go into that storm sewer and then back out and get all over. So for proper grading and stuff, that'll all be used up. While you're looking at that, and the other four of you are not, Ben Golden's done a really great job on the City of Arcadia welcome signs, the Wannock Art Center signs, the historical, all those things. And if he did up a rendition, then we could get that over to like Lewiston Monument and some of those other places to, have them cost out and put together a bid for what those signs would be. And that would kind of keep it local too, so that might not be a bad idea unless you guys think that's a terrible idea, but Ben's got a pretty good track record of designing stuff like that.
Well, he designed that whole Joyce Wannick Pavilion.
Yes, and the Lutheran Church out on County Highway 93 too. So, I'll give you a Ben's cell number, and then if you can just follow up with him, then I'll take that back, Bob.
So we can see what they look like before they're done, or what are they?
Yeah, you'll have a rendition, and that way if anybody says, hey, that's neat, but you wanted to do a little tweak on it or something, you can certainly do that at that point.
I think it's a nice job.
Yeah. So, before you leave tonight, I'll give you Ben's, cell number, and then you can just follow up with him if you would. Okay, discussion and possible approval of that, agreement with Ashley with those, incorporated changes.
So moved.
Second.
And you authorize the mayor to sign it.
That's probably a good thing too.
On behalf of the city.
So,
Okay.
motion by Feltus, seconded by Fetch, to approve that agreement and authorize me to sign that, Bill. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, we'll vote, please.
Conrad,
Yes.
Fetch,
Yes.
Feltes,
Yep.
Sensala,
Yep.
Wozni.
Yes.
We thank you for your support on that. We have future agenda items, Mr. Wojni.
Nothing.
Mr. Sensala.
Nothing right now.
Mr. Feltus?
We need to amend the ordinance to cover our handicap parking sign out here, so that we can legally write a ticket.
Okay, you wanna,
I don't remember what the ordinance number is,
104,
so.
that's my job, you don't need to remember that.
Should, at the same time, if there's any other ones, we should get them all done. You know, if there's any other sign, because I do know you have to have ordinance for every sign, so, or every sign's gotta be covered by an ordinance, I should say.
And we did just do all those, but there is going to be a slow space, children at play or children walking or whatever sign that's gonna be added to Sabota Street. And there's going to be a 10-mile-an-hour sign added on East River near Dodie Motzko's house for the kids that walk to school. I know those two are gonna be added. Somebody wanna,
You can add that in.
all three of those, any issues with those three as an amendment, Doc?
I was just thinking up in the park, going from the parking lot to the high school parking lot, you know, there's a road there.
Yep.
There's also a walking path thing there. And people, unfortunately, I have heard, and I've never seen it, but people drive there. And I mentioned to Raul, I wonder if we could, if this would be included in that, maybe some indication on that walk. This is, you know, vehicles, or this is a footpath or something like that, so people don't drive on it.
How about authorized vehicles only, because there are certain times where people, you know, street departments or subcontractors, like when the guy was working up at the park on the statues and different things, he did go back in on some of those with his vehicle, and we wouldn't wanna ticket a subcontractor for doing his work.
I also know that we use that hydrant there for practice lots of times for the fire department and the fill site. I think you had to route the traffic, didn't you, Adam, when that big fire was, that thing?
Yep.
So then, but, you know, we're right there then too.
There's some pylons there, right?
Oh,
Yeah, so it protects that thing there, but I just want, you know, use some.
But I think we
yellow-
route
yellow
the traffic on that path when we're set up
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what
with
you're
our
saying,
pump, you know, for filling
But-
tankers.
You hear what I'm saying, though,
No.
I just want it to be safe for people, so that you don't have these people driving on there when there's big amounts of traffic that they're gonna go on both sides of it.
And I don't know if you can add that with Joe's motion, or that, I noticed Independence, they got their school zone. I just noticed this yesterday, and maybe they've been there a while, but I just haven't been. And there's little white lights all the way around it that flash, and it says
Oh,
20 miles an hour when sign flashing. And what would be really nice, because I know sometimes in the fog, you know, in the early morning when school's, you know, it's foggy down there. I think, and they look like they're solar powered. I think we should maybe discuss that too.
Okay, Diana and Louie and I have been talking about a couple of those, actually there's 4 of them, one on either side of the middle school, one on Fairfield just up from Bob's house, and one on Wright Lane, somewhere near where Marlis is. And it would also have a little box that says your speed is. And she's getting prices on those for us.
Yeah, I was still gonna
But-
say, because that's what I was just thinking, you were talking about getting those signs that post the speed limit that you're going.
But Louis said that the school district would like to work with the city on that, you know, not just location and stuff, but also contribute to that, so.
And the Holy Family Church up there by the Harry Blaschko house, I don't know who lives there now. That sign in the middle of the road is got to go.
Keith and Mrs. Whitty.
Either we need to put it back closer to like where Roger Reichwein lives, or get rid of it, because it's right in the corner. And I went through with a single axle trailer behind my pickup, and there was cars parked. I mean, you couldn't make it.
Yeah, I think people are cutting to the inside of that sign.
Yeah, they are.
When I've swung the bus around over there in front of Romy Pranczynski's house, it's the same thing, and one day last week, you know, you're supposed to drive on the right side of it, and the sign was pushed to the right. I actually had to swing around and go on the other side.
Maybe we could put a boulevard sign instead of that being, or if we're gonna have it in the middle of the road, have it closer to like Mike Sabota's house.
yeah.
Not
I-
right in the
I
corner.
think if you move it back, yeah, you'd be okay. I went through there the other day when I gave blood, and I thought the same thing. I was like, boy, that's in a dumb spot.
Because there is no crosswalk. There is no,
No, I think it's just a warning of the children up
obviously,
ahead.
but those are crosswalk signs, I think.
Not
Or
on
watch out for people.
They've got two different ones. They've got one that are,
Oh.
watch for pedestrians in the crosswalk, and the other one is, school
I
zone.
guess I didn't know there was a difference.
Yeah, I didn't either. I would move them up
I didn't
towards
pay no
Rikers.
attention to what it said, I just was watching.
I'm not sure which
Charlie
ones
hit
we've got, but I know that I've seen both of those.
You guys move 'em.
And I think Diana was the one who replaced that where it is, so. And
I'll see your-
that's not criticism, it's just not working.
Sure. Anything else?
It's working, it's just in a bad location.
Jack?
Yeah, one comment here. I have contacted Kevin Whalen, and he is, about parliamentary procedure, and he is willing to be here on December 7th with his parliamentary procedure crew to give us a little discussion on that if we so desire.
Would they, do you want them to put on a demonstration? We could do it at the Glanzer building.
But that'd be fun.
We could have a table set up for them, and Bill, can you make sure that the agenda is so planned for that at the Glanzer building, and then we'll make sure that they have a table set up so they could,
And turn the heat on by at least 4 o'clock.
Wear your thermal socks.
anything else, Doc?
That's it, thank you.
Good. Or did you get yours in during them?
I think I just shared with Mr. Feltus.
All right, we'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
I'll vote on it whenever you're ready.
Yes.
Me.
52 minutes to make that.
I made the motion.
You made a motion?
I made the motion, I don't know, second.
Who seconded that?
Give that to Slurry.
Conrad,
Yes.
Pat, give me this photo from Paula. Well,
They have to move slow, they're gonna be bumping that.
Sure.
Somebody can pick that up. Yes.
Is that like left?
Yeah, it says close to through traffic or only through traffic or something.
Like, is it a big white?
It's got the two metals here and then it's got two cross and then that's where they put the sign. Oh, Joe. It's tips over. But if we get snow, we're gonna go in there with that.
Holy cow, I wondered
Who the guy was the reverend here.
So I don't know who owns it, if it's